but in open comments, we said something to the effect that no one has the right to determine when life begins, and many of us of faith in this country do believe we have the right, based on our teachings, as to when life begins, and I don't think that science is God and should determine when life begins. That's my reaction to the comment. If I heard it properly, if I did not, then I apologize.
But you heard, I think, was one person to tell another person when life begins. Not that you don't have the right to decide and determine for yourself. And I'm not claiming that science has that right. Part of my argument is that it's philosophical. Science doesn't have an answer to that question. And I think that if we look along our population, with our very cultural differences, et cetera, that we find a very broad range of opinions as to when we feel life begins. Those were my comments.
Okay, well, my only response to that is that in our system, in this country, people have the right to their opinion, and they can reflect that in public policy through their elected representatives. And so, yes, we do have a right to determine as individuals in this country, based on our faith and our beliefs, when we think life begins. And if we want to generate that belief to the entire country, we go to our public officials.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I'm trying to get a handle on the intent of the bill. Is this a funding bill, or is this a bill to permit something that's not permitted now?
This is a funding bill.
This is a funding bill.
This, in concert with the governor, will fund $25 million per year for multiple years of research on human embryonic stem cells prepared only by using leftover embryos that would otherwise be discarded with consent from IBL.
Okay, so it's a little of both then. A comment was made earlier about human cells when they, or something about it being realized. What does that mean? When did that happen? I don't understand when and how human cells were realized. That comment was made earlier. What does that mean? We talked about 1990 something.
Oh, yes. When I mentioned that in the early 1980s, embryonic stem cells were first isolated from mice. It wasn't until 1998 that they were first reported to have a human counterpart.
And how was that done? Where did they come?
They came from early stage embryos, human embryos in the laboratory, 2 reports.
Okay, now, let me ask you another question. With respect to funding on any kind of stem cell research, how has it been funded in the past?
Whether conventional sources of funding, maybe the National Institutes of Health, for example, that historically funds the early stage research in many, many areas and proves productive, then generally trying to go to some clinical use and companies involved, et cetera.
Have you all had any problems with funding for that type of research?
For human embryonic stem cells, yes.
I'm not talking embryonic, I'm talking about.
Oh, no, not at all. The adult sources, last year, available for something like $300 million the National Institutes of Health has spent on adult sources of stem cells annually. That figure for human embryonic stem cells is $2 million.
So there is indeed federal funding available for embryonic.
There is, under the President's policy, there is. But if you look at what the need is, if you look at what happens to research grants that go through that process, very little money is being awarded to us for those students. And it's restricted in what you can do with it.
It's restricted to existing lines, is that correct?
Exactly.
So this is more than just a funding issue for this bill, because this bill not only is a funding issue, but it also is an extension of the lines that would then be able to be used for research.
I would interpret it as saying you could use